Dr.
Thank you so much. I'm so touched. Wish you a happy and healthy New Year. Thank you for recognizing culture. Usually, people don't recognize culture. Culture is always at the back seat. We talk about development, health sector, many other sectors, even agriculture, but culture usually we don't talk. So I'm so touched, you recognize the power of culture. I'm not a technology person. Please forgive me in case I make a blunder. My sincere thanks to Ms. Sednaj Vakil, Sri Jagdish Malkani, Mr. Bimal Mehta, and Mr. Ajit Lalwani, and all the members of Rotary Club of Bombay. You are still Bombay, not Mumbai.
Yes, we are Bombay.
Thank you.
Not Mumbai.
I'm so happy. you retained the original name of the city. For sending a strong message to the world that cultural heritage is not merely bricks and stones, but our identity. And ignoring power of culture means destroying the social fabric of societies. And that is something we need to understand. We should not forget that all kind of development initiative in our society are meant for human development. Any development you talk about, the actual, the aim of development is human development and enrichment. And this human development is woven into the fabric of our contemporary communities and day-to-day lives, manifested in language, performance, art, traditions, and other tangible representations of existence. The famous urban historian, probably some of you know, Dr. Edgar Pisari, Italian urban historian, he says, development needs roots, and one must know one's past in order to build a future that is neither an illusion nor a constraint. We do not need any development devoid. Culture is important. And the solution, if we keep 10% or 15% of any budget of development for culture, with that money you restore monuments, you preserve tangible and intangible heritage. Intangible, we are blessed with intangible heritage. Now I'm coming to museum. Can I show a few slides if you permit?
Please go ahead. Please.
Renuka, yeah, she's helping me. Look at the building.
Looks beautiful.
Building has been illuminated with Rotary Club's efforts. Our garden is improved and maintained by Rotary Club. You helped us in many ways, even the solar energy, and you will be very happy to know we are conserving almost 35% energy, and that helped the museum and the management immensely. Museum as an institution holds an important place in the society because it does not only tell the story of man and the world and how humanity survived in its environment over the decades, but also because it houses things created by nature and by man in the past and the present. Thus, it is important for the changing society and nation. Museum is the only space share its spaces with people, cultural fragments, provide them shelter and protection on a sustainable basis, and helps them to connect with the rest of the world. That is something we must understand. Objects representing varied cultures provide opportunity to people from diverse countries and cultures to become partners in the world narrative and to motivate them to reclaim and reposition their own unique regional, national, global identities in the changing cultural landscape of the world. And that is something I'll be showing you. Can we see the next slide? Just, I'm showing the interior part, but this is not the renovated. When we complete, we could not capture the images of renovated part of the interior. This is the old one. Still work is going on, but when you come inside in the central foyer and look around, you'll be so happy. The whole, environment changed completely. And then you realize beautiful things grow in a beautiful environment. Environment is so important. Next. Our histories are glorious, painful, and surprising. Now more than ever, we need to understand them all. And looking at, I was sharing the incidents this Sunday happened at the gate. People, they would like to see, they would like to encounter their past, their cultural heritage. And because of Corona, because of, anxiety, we are preventing them. And all the time I was standing there and thinking what I am doing. I am a temporary custodian of public property. And this is their property. They would like to come, they would like to see, and why I am preventing. Some ethical issues when you don't find, any solution because of restrictions. Health is also important. You cannot allow so many people. Then the question, why do people come to the museum? What is there? What is there to attract? What they learn from the museum? And then I remembered our dear friend, many of you know, Neil MacGregor, the former director of the British Museum, who is also an advisor to CSMVS. After his retirement, he accepted 2 assignments, and one of them advisor to DG CSMVS. And he says, the whole point about museums is that they help you to sort out your places in the world. It is in a museum that you can look at your own past and think about your relation to it. That is more important now than it has been for a long time. As the world gets more global and the history of identity gets more complicated, it is important to have places where everyone can come and look at themselves, their history, their stories, and future, unquote. As temporary custodian of public property, we are pleased to inform you that our museum is now going to complete its 100 years long journey on 10 January 2022. Many of you know the unique history of this museum. This is perhaps one of the few institutes or the institute in the country was created by the people for the people and not aided by the government. Even in 2022, I'm sorry, not a single penny. We passed through difficult time. Last 2 years, I think museum was completely shut for 16 months. We approached the central government and the state government. They didn't even acknowledge our letter, our appeal. But when we approached people of Mumbai, I think everyone came around us. And this is something I was sharing with trustees, that history, when citizens of Bombay in 1904, under the leadership of Sir Firoz Shah Mehta, expressed their desire to create a cultural space in the heart of the city. And Bombay presidency made it a point that yes, we will provide you a piece of land, but you should be, the citizens of Mumbai should be in position to maintain it. And after 100 years, this museum, this cultural institute is still maintained by the people of Mumbai. Just show me one example. It's a rare example. So during pandemic, when institute was suffering, institute shared its story with the people. Hundreds of people approached. We came up with a scheme: adopt a museum object, adopt a gallery. So people, adapted museum objects. People adapted galleries. We have created a new exhibition, Danam. So when you get the opportunity, please do visit that exhibition, and then you understand how people of Mumbai responded to our appeal. And museum was saved because of that, because of our friends, the people of Mumbai. And that is our strength. Yes, the journey was glorious, painful, and full of surprises. We have said many times, and now again, that the preservation of cultural heritage is arguably one of the biggest challenges of contemporary society in the country and the world at large, similar to other great challenges such as health and environment sustainability. All great thinkers, trust me, all great thinkers, starting from Plato, Aristotle, even our Charvak, have reminded us on many occasions that humanity sustains so long as culture exists. And this is something, please never ever forget. Humanity sustains so long culture exists. Irina Bokova, the former Director General of UNESCO, writes, I quote, "Culture alone is not enough to build peace, but without culture, peace cannot be lasting," unquote. It is a proven fact that the preservation of cultural heritage, documentation of human history, and dissemination of knowledge will depend not only on the community of professionals, but also from an informed and interested public. And that is, you all are informed and interested public, part of that. It's not professional alone. Can we see the next slide? Just showing you our facility. I just wanted to share because we could complete, the state-of-art storage. I think the best storage facility, you can call it, world-class storage facility. I don't think any museum, Indian museum, can think about with climate control, 365 days. During pandemic time, we had so much problem. Museum was completely shut. Our staff disappeared, but nothing happened to our collection. Collection was 100% safe. And thanks to, again, corporates and people, they support it. And today we have the best storage facility and the conservation lab. And conservation lab is more like a hospital. So any problem, any difficulty, we have our in-house hospital to look after collection. And that is something I wanted to share. Next. So here, you get to see community participation. As I say, looking at the building was designed by Witted It was known for Indo-Saracenic style, a combination of Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Islamic, and Western architectural elements. It's a symbol of cultural unity. And you look at, your audience, you look at people from different community, they are coming, they're sharing the space, they're looking at things. It's an open space for conversation. Next. Over 200,000 children visit the museum. In 2019, we created a separate space for children. We felt that, city has everything for everyone, particularly for elderly people. You have a club, you have bar, you have restaurant, everything, theater, NCPA, you can go anywhere. What about our children? What do? They just remain busy with the laptop and mobile. There is no creative space for them. So we thought, why not we create space for them without any imposition? Within the family, parents dictate children, do this, don't, sit at one place. When they go to school, teachers dictate. And then they go to college, professors dictate, don't argue with me. So where is the time to grow as an independent? So this space, all exhibitions, all activities planned and curated by children. Our staff, they give orientation. They don't impose anything on them. So they are allowed to study collection, they are allowed to select, and they are allowed to prepare the narrative. And Museum on Wheels, we started in 2016 with the help of City, reaching out to people outside South Mumbai, outside the Mumbai. If you cannot come to the museum can come to your doorstep. So that was the whole idea. Next slide, please. So the cultural activities program on the lawn. Next, because we have limited time. Just wanted to show you our visitor center, museum shop. Now we reorganized our museum shop. You will enjoy when you come next time. The auditorium, and now we are coming up with a new project, Hoping Against Hope. Everything will be all right. 300 capacity underground auditorium and a separate space for modern and contemporary art. Museum has to evolve with the time. It can't be static. Next. Thank you so much for your help and support, continued help and support. Because of your support, the garden is looking beautiful. Because of your support, we are able to save energy and little money. Next. This is something, I will end with this. In the beginning, I said, why do people come to the museum? And here I'm going to explain the power of object. There are two objects. They are not very good looking object. They, from their appearance, they don't attract at all. But look at closely. On top, there is an edict, inscription of the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka, 3rd century BC. This was the first time that a ruler, king, tried to unify his subjects by promoting peace and ethical conduct. Importantly written in the regional languages. In 3rd century BC, he used regional languages. And trust me, that India was much bigger than the present India. And a variety of scripts, including Brahmi, Kharosti, Greek, and Aramaic. The fragment you see on top, coming from the ancient port town of Chopara in Thane, New Mumbai. In the mid-3rd century, Ashoka sent one of his missionaries to Chopara to spread the message of Dharma. And India's greatest gift to the world. The three words, peace, unity, and non-violence. These are not Gandhiji's words. These words are Ashoka's Dhamma. And we must know that these three powerful words depicted, inscribed on stone all over the subcontinent. Even in Afghanistan, where you find Ashokan edict, there also it talks about peace, non-violence. And another interesting part of this Sopada inscription we have in our collection on display. It says, respecting slave. Can you imagine in 2021, we don't teach our children to respect slaves. But the great king of India, ancient India, 3rd century BC, asking people to respect slaves. So here, Ashoka talks about morality, and another interesting cylindrical shaped terracotta object. You look at the Cyrus Cylinder. If there is anybody from Zoroastrian community, will be thrilled to look at. The Cyrus Cylinder is a rare document that provides political, social, and religious information about the ancient Persian Empire, dated 539 BCE. It was buried as a foundation deposit, which was common tradition for Babylonian and Assyrian kings when they made new buildings. Usually such cylinders recorded the achievements of the kings and sought protection from gods. But here it talks about morality. So both the inscriptions, both the objects talking about values, human values and morality. And that is something, we need to know and we need to teach to our younger generation. I end with this slide. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mukherjee. That was really inspiring. I hope a lot of our members are inspired to continue to help and support your great organization. You have preserved, created a space for us not only to open our minds, but our souls. So I really thank you for it. And I hope we can continue to support you.
Thank you.
I wonder if you have questions from the House. If there are any questions, Mr. Mukherjee, will you be willing to take a few questions?
With great pleasure.
So Priyasri, I think you have a question.
Yes. So first of all, congratulations. So happy. This was long due, I guess. And thank you for giving Rotary Club of Bombay and myself the opportunity to be able to contribute one drop in the ocean. And sir, I have a question that our Rotary Club of Bombay runs a Bhavishyayan, wherein we have these schools, municipal schools, which run these Bhavishyayan classes for English and vocational training and computers. And for almost 9 years, I used to take a class called Art and Creative Thinking. And during my tenure with these schools, I have been able to collect priceless paintings made by children from 9 years to 12 to 13 years of age, all coming from very humble backgrounds, but extremely special children. And I've also got letters and stories written by them. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to ask you that whether with the consent of RCB and if CSMVS would be open to showing this exhibition of these artworks and stories and letters from the Bhavishyayan students at the Children's Museum. Thank you.
Yes, Priyash, you will be very happy to showcase that collection, provided you curate it.
Yes, of course, sir. I will curate it. It will be an honor with, of course, the consent of my then president. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Renu, you have the next question.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Mukherjee. Thank you for a lovely session. So good to see you here, though we like to meet you in person. You know, you have really been very bold in introducing a lot of initiatives, opening up the museum to music concerts, fashion shows, etc. How did you manage the stakeholders, basically your trustees? Because I think that's a very good lesson for the city of Bombay on how to manage to preserve great institutions and organizations that were founded by the eminent citizens of Bombay, like Sir Firozshah Mehta. So how do you manage the stakeholders? Because you have government and private people.
See, before transforming the institute, you need to transform your trustees and staff. And what I did, you know, I did a very extensive study. I'm writing the book, you know, Centenary, on the history of the museum, and the history of this museum is the history of Mumbai. To be honest with you, Rahul is, you know, Rahul is writing with me. He is covering the architecture, Rahul Mehrotra, and I'm covering. Now, what is happening in most of the government museums and other museums, trustees, they start thinking, you know, that they own, and staff, they also start thinking that, you know, they don't have any accountability to people. And here we had to teach them, you know, from the day one, that we are all temporary custodian of public property. And that is something, you know, I'm paid by you. I don't own anything. So if we all, you know, keep these things in mind, then automatically, you know, you share everything with the people. What is the problem? There is no problem. This is their space. So things started happening, and more you open up, more people participate, more money, more support comes from different communities in the city. And they start look at, you know, and to be honest with you, we also don't have any political problem. We don't have any union. Surprisingly, we have, you know, 300 staff, but no union. It's basically, you know, the work culture. As I said, you know, in the beginning, beautiful things grow in a beautiful environment. Once you create the environment, then everyone become a part of that environment, and they all start appreciating. And that is my experience. In past, you know, 15 years, we had problems and difficulties, but every time people and organization and corporates, they came and supported.
Lovely. Thank you. I think it's all your leadership. So congratulations again. Yeah. Thank you.
Vineet, you have a question?
Yes. Dr. Mukherjee, what an incredible role you have been playing as a custodian of the public property. For many of us, it is one of the most favorite place to visit in South Bombay. The question I have for you is the point that you made about a cultural institute such as the museum should transcend beyond generations. So the point that you were sharing with us earlier, that there were 2,000 people who turned up outside the gates of the museum, were you able to see and share with us whether the young and the youth of our city are also turning up at the museum? Because that is something that you would like to see, and that is something that even I would like to know.
What do I say? You know, if you come even today, because we are open, and I could see, you know, people from my office, I could see people are coming. You will be surprised. There was a time gray-haired people used to visit. And now I think with the magnifying glass, you have to find, you know, any gray-haired person coming or not. It's all, you know, young people, youth. They are coming to the museum.
Wonderful.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, very encouraging.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Very cool.
Dr. Mukherjee, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm a Zoroastrian, and that Cyrus cylinder that you showed us, is it genuinely the original? How did you acquire it?
No. We did not acquire. It was a loan. It was a loan from the British Museum. The Cyrus cylinder is in British Museum collection. So after the mummy exhibition, in collaboration with the British Museum, then Neil MacGregor was the director. So I expressed my desire, and some of my Zoroastrian friends, they said, why not, Mukherjee, you bring that Cyrus cylinder from the British Museum. It went to Iran, it can come to India. And then I took permission from the government of India, because that is precious. It's a treasure category. Usually British Museum don't allow any treasure category object to go out. But as a special case, Neil MacGregor and the trustees of British Museum, they considered. So Cyrus cylinder came to Mumbai, and about 85 or 90,000, from Zoroastrian community, people visited.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement in the community.
Yeah.
Everyone, are you going to see it? Are you going to see it? Yes, it was certainly a great attraction. So thank you. Are there any more questions? If not, I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Batra.
I have a quick one.
Okay.
Dr. Mukherjee, one of the key things you see in world-class museums now is, of course, the whole tech-enabled experience. So what are the initiatives we are doing? I mean, you go now, you go to these museums, you can just scan the picture and the whole thing downloads, and the mind boggles at some of the initiatives abroad. Where are we in all this?
You have put me in difficult situation, because I'm not a technology person, and I always say, yes, technology. I look at technology as my servant, not as my master. And the digital experience. Just think about the real samosa and virtual samosa. What is the difference? No, we Indians, we have some kind of relation with the nature. We are born and brought up in nature. We enjoy sun, we enjoy moon, we enjoy trees all around, open space. If we don't get, we feel suffocating. We can't sit 24 hours in air-conditioned environment. Yes, world is changing, and we need to change. As I say, change is good. We are developing very sophisticated museum app in collaboration with the IIT Bombay. It's a very expensive one. It might cost almost 4 crores. And thanks to City for supporting this project, it's shaping up very well. So when you step in, you just upload the app, and then you don't need anyone. On your own, you can go anywhere. If you feel like visiting the museum, all right. Otherwise, you can see that. And my problem, I want people to visit. I want people to see the original, that they should not get carried away with the images. So we had a lot of debate and this thing argument, and then in one of the panels there were many experts. They were there. They were talking about the technology, this, that, and then I said yes, we are taking help of technology, but technology is not dominating our objects. Objects is the key, core. And when you visit museum, you want to see the original. When you visit Ajanta, you want to see all original murals. You can't be satisfied with the digital images. So something is happening. I know something is happening, but what is important is to maintain the balance. That we maintain the balance, so people come closer to original. They look at, they understand the power of the object. And trust me, each object has different layers. Because today you have time limitation. I have so many stories. And one after one, if I start revealing, then you will be surprised. Oh my God. We didn't know. So our youth, they don't know when the art of writing was invented in India. I was, addressing a couple of years ago at IIT Bombay. They invited, and my first question, I thought, they're all intelligent people. So wanted to test, IQ. When the art of writing started in India, there was a pin drop silence. Then I thought, the second question, let me try whether they know their city or not. That who designed Gate of India? Pin drop silence. So this is the problem, that they don't know their city, they don't know their history, and then they say that this Enlightenment movement started in India on arrival of Europeans. What nonsense! Indus Valley civilization 5,000 years ago, they were literate people. They recorded, the history. And they invented the script. We are not in position to decipher, but they were literate. They recorded their history. And that is our history. So the art of writing goes back to Indus Valley civilization. The process of urbanization, when our young people, they look at multi-storied building, they think that these are the gift of 20th century and 21st century. They don't know. There were many multi-storied big buildings at Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. Up to 4, ground plus 4, with attached toilet. White roads, covered drainage. I think things got deteriorated now. Things were better 5,000 years ago.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mukherjee. Akshay, could you please give the vote of thanks?
Yes, Madam President. Thank you so much, Mr. Mukherjee. What a wonderful talk, what wonderful slides, and what wonderful work. Really amazed at what you and the team have done at the museum. And you'll surely be seeing me with my family there very, very soon to come and see the history of India through all these objects that you've spoken about. I found it extremely interesting. Thank you so much for keeping our culture alive. And for sharing the afternoon with us. We will be planting 10 fruit-bearing trees at the Nilmati Dandwal Gram Panchayat in your name. And this is the certificate which will be sent to you shortly. Thank you very much once again for being here today, and a very, very well-deserved award.